We're here in the studio and we are with Youssef. Hi, Youssef. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to jump right into questions because we want to get people learning about your expertise. So the first question I have for you is, what is the first sign a business may have operational problems?
So this is a really interesting question because a lot of businesses may do one of two things. Either take a look at the reports or take a look at what's actually happening on the floor. And I deal with a lot of service businesses that do services that are in person.
Yep.
Car mechanics, nail salons, pet grooming, like whatever. And usually the first sign comes from miscommunication, at least from what I see. When so many things are happening, things get dropped. Customers don't get followbacks, or you may miss an important detail, or you're so busy that you don't write notes into a work order that you're doing. And so whether that has a consequence or not in the overall outcome of whatever it is that you're doing is, I would say, less, it is less impactful than not being able to take advantage of the opportunities of having that information. So aside from that, I would say there are some very common symptoms. So people get stressed out. I'm doing too much, or they're not paying me enough for what I'm doing. Sometimes that might be an operational problem. But one of the other things is, and this is kind of a silent killer type symptom, is you don't make as much money as you can. If you don't have strong operations, essentially what that means is that you cannot execute at the highest level.
Right.
And once the customer comes into your shop, that is the best time for you to upsell. It's also the cheapest way to make more money out of the customers you already have. When you do better on operations versus marketing, it's actually way, way cheaper to focus on the customers that are already in your space rather than try to find new customers. These people already trust you. They may have already come before. They would likely take your suggestion if they felt that you were making a suggestion in their interest. So leaving money on the table is probably something that people never see because you can't measure it.
It seems to be that there's, a scalability and an effective and efficiency that can happen by keeping these operational procedures defined and top of mind to the people on the floor, and helping them not to hold it all in their heads and get it, right, so that they can operate. I've seen that in the businesses that I've operated and places that I deal with. And so I'm interested, based on that fact that you've given me, that understanding that there's probably more ROI to be had by being more effective in your operations than perhaps where people might say, I need more customers, I need marketing to get me more in. So that ROI change, why would most owners ignore process development, perhaps, given that, there's clearly a line that you can draw that says this is going to make you more money?
I think a lot of business owners, and me included, are always focused on the immediate return in front of them. And process development starts to fall lower on that priority list because there isn't an immediate return. And we are in a world of immediate gratification.
Everything,
right? And I think when it comes to building a business, it's a long game. This is like a marathon, not a sprint. So the point is to go far, not to go fast. Lots of businesses open up. Lots of them close within 5 years. The ones that have stuck around for a long time and have actually scaled have invested in their future, in their vision. And that's what SOP development is for. So it's a lot of work up front. And honestly, now with AI, it's a lot less work than it used to be when I first started.
Right.
We used to write everything by hand, or maybe on a computer. we used to actually sit down and think about all of the scenarios that might happen, how you can make a process that would take into account 80% of the issues. There's no process that will take into account 100% of situations. That's where you tell people, here's a process, but bring your brain to work as well.
Please.
You're still dealing with people. So I think that's why the SOP development seems like such a daunting task and people don't take it on. One, because it's really front heavy as far as the effort. Number two, there's no immediate gratification. There's no instant reward. And so people just end up, helping the customers that are coming in and say like, I just need to focus on what's in front of me right now. And I would say that's the best answer I can come up with. And it's what I see in the field all the time.
No, that's a great answer. It seems to me like there's, if you're being almost visionary versus reactive, where you're looking a little bit over the hump, then there's a need that you will see as a business owner, perhaps for this SOP for growth, for being able to do those things. That's very cool. I'm going to ask a question because you mentioned, ChatGPT or, AI. You didn't mention ChatGPT exclusively, but these are, some of the tools that people would know. But what's the biggest myth about automation? And the reason I'm asking that question now is because you said, alluded to like, please bring your brain to work and please consider humans in this element. And so what might be the biggest myth, and does it relate to that? If it doesn't, that's okay, but I'm curious.
I think a lot of people have misconceptions about what AI can do and what it's good for. And I was in Cornwall yesterday and I was presenting an AI training course, like AI 101. And one of the things that I mentioned to everybody is that AI cannot fix the deeper problems in your business. What I see as AI is it's really good in the sense that it can just add, like it's like adding fuel to the fire. But if you have gaps in your processes, your systems are unclear, your fundamental processes are not aligned, AI will not fix that for you. It will not fix the morale in your office. It will not fix the human aspects of the business. And it's kind of impossible to grow a business without other people. You can have a practice, but you can't have a business. So when it comes to AI, it's really good at some simple things, low value, maybe tedious tasks. It probably help with a little bit of lead generation, but within the operations world, what it should be doing and what I instruct my clients to do is to use it for simple problems that they have every single week, things that they hate doing that could be done that don't have a lot of variation in them, right? The data could be varying, but the process cannot vary. So that could be as simple as, as soon as somebody submits their payroll or like their payroll hours, they clock in, clock out. Well, you're going to have to send those payroll hours to an accountant so that the person can get paid. That can be automated. The moment that you review the hours and you click submit, everything else could be automated. The process is more or less the same, right? What it doesn't replace is your expertise. It doesn't replace the connection and the relationships that you have with your client. It doesn't replace that gut intuition and your judgment when a particular situation presents itself. That's what we need humans for. The creativity, the strategy, you still need to be behind the wheel.
Love it.
So automation can't, unfortunately, at this point, do any of that.
It's opening it up for, it said it can't, solve your bigger issues in your business. So maybe by removing the tedium or removing that level, you can engage more on the future of the business and the things that need solving now, the gaps.
That's right.
Nice. Really good. I want to jump in a little bit back to what we were talking about before, which is, how do you know if your operations are scalable? We talked about, how if a process is broken, it maybe not be scalable. When a process looks good on paper or looks like it's functioning correctly, how can you test scalability, or is there a way to do that? How would you know?
The way that I would go about it is try scaling.
Yeah.
Try it out first. See what breaks.
Love it.
To me, within the operations, and every other department in the company, system is comprised of three things.
Okay.
Every business on earth has these three things: people, process, tech, and tool and technology.
Yes.
Within the brick and mortar world, layout also has something to do with it. Layout of a brick and mortar store is really important.
Yeah.
It totally changed the customer journey. Think of like IKEA.
Yeah.
That is by design. They want to make you walk through the whole store.
Yep.
Right. And so the layout obviously has a lot to do with it. So when you take a look at those three things and how they interact with each other, the quality of their interaction determines the quality of your system.
Right.
So scaling really just also means is getting the same amount of output with lower inputs.
Right.
Or increasing the amount of output while keeping the inputs the same.
Right.
That's all that scaling means.
It's literally just a balanced equation.
So if we try to get more efficient and then your quality and your quantity suffer, not scalable.
Yeah.
And if you have multiple locations and you have the same volume, but not the same results, not the same customer experience, not repeatable.
Right.
So really the best way is to put it to the fire and see what happens. And generally speaking, the symptoms will present themselves. You'll know if things go awry. Yeah. Maybe you get a 1-star review.
Right.
Maybe somebody, doesn't get the kind of repair that they want at the time that they want it. Yeah. And so your lead times start to get stretched a little bit. There's lots of ways that you can measure that, and it really will depend on the business and what they measure.
Right. And that would be mainly, be lag indicators, right? That's what you're looking for in that when you're testing?
Yeah. There is also leading indicators.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah. So when it comes to change management, you have to make sure everybody's on board. And change management is one of the hardest things to do. The way that I approach change management is I get everybody involved. They own this change. We go bottom up, not top down.
Okay.
Obviously, I work for the client, who's the business owner. Yeah. But in order to get everybody rallied and hyped up and really energized about this, we ask them like, okay, you're doing this every single day. Yeah. What do you think can make things better? Right. And we get everybody's feedback. Yeah. And when they start to understand that we're doing this as within the lens of like a win-win situation, and we want to make their jobs easier, because we do. Yep. Right. If their jobs are easier, they can do more. Yeah. Right. If they get more time back, they can spend the extra time on more valuable things. Yes. So this is for everybody. It's not just for the business owner and for us to like line the pockets of, you know what I mean? So it's important that everybody has a say and everybody feels heard and feels valued. Yeah. And when you approach it that way, you'd be surprised how easy change management is. Okay. Really so in certain situations, we'll actually get to know the staff, talk with the staff. Yep. Tell me about, your job. What do you do every day? What do you believe you're responsible for versus what's in your job description? Do you have a job description? There's all of these little things that kind of need to be in place to create the clarity and the direction. Once you have those two things, the right people will drive the change and the wrong people will leave eventually. That's a good thing. Yeah. And then then you can have space for the right people.
Yeah, there's like the adoption curve that we talk about, right? And you need those people at the beginning for change management. I want to commend you on saying one thing that I've never heard anyone else before say, which is change management can be easy. I love that you said that, because I think it can. I believe you when you say it.
Easy. It's not always
easy.
It
can, but I loved the power in that statement, because no one else has ever said that. And I've, talked with lots of people who are saying change management is like the hardest thing you're ever going to do, but change is the only thing that's constant, that kind of tech, and so it can be, and I think it can be when you work with people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, nobody likes change. Yeah. Right. Yeah. To learn a new thing or to go in a new direction where you're uncertain of what could come out of it, that's hard for everybody. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you can't make that journey fun, exciting, easier. It's obviously, if everybody's on board and everybody agrees with the vision and the direction of the company, people are excited to take that on, especially if they are up to the challenge. Right. Anybody who has been in a situation where they have been really motivated to hit some sort of a goal, you see a different energy out of that person. And that's the thing that drives the change in a positive direction. Will there be mistakes? Of course, we're humans. We make mistakes all the time. Even AI makes mistakes. But it doesn't mean that we can't learn from them and have a good attitude going into it. That's what makes change management easier.
Yeah, I love that. The mental framing of change management is seemingly one of the most significant pieces that I'm learning from you. And on that note, I actually wanted to ask about how, with that lens, do you train staff without overwhelming them on new processes? And I think it relates to what we sort of been talking about.
Yeah. When it comes to learning, it's always better to keep it engaging and break it up into pieces.
Okay. Yeah.
And I also love to start training with context first. Just like AI needs context to really understand what the goal is.
Yeah.
People need context too. Why are we making this change in the first place? What is this supposed to do for us? What is it supposed to do for me as an employee? So once they understand that, you anchor their mentality into wanting this change, right? Yeah. Especially if you've gotten their feedback and now you've set the target, you just need to get out of people's way. Right. So I would say the training aspect of it comes in a few directions. You need to inspire people about the new direction, about the vision of the company. You need to make them feel energized and positive about it. And then comes the thing that everybody thinks training is, where it's not the only thing, is you actually need to empower them. They need to learn something new and be better off at the end of that training. So if you have those three elements and the training is engaging, it's not just like a boring document or something in a binder that gets stuffed under the customer service cache, it just gets referred to or not, then training could be amazing. It's one of the reasons why I am in training, I'm in this field, is because when I was in retail, the people that I really loved looking up to were the trainers that came into my shops. I was at the Future Shops, the Wireless Waves, the T-Booths of the world, Best Buys, love technology. And we'd have people come in from Rogers or Kudo or Samsung and show us the latest cool thing. And not only would they tell us about their products and the promotions that we can offer customers, but also sales tactics, the 4 different kinds of personalities of people that would come in. This was in like, I don't know, early 2000s or something. But I felt like I had superpowers by the end of the training. They gave you lots of energy. They gave you something cool that now you can try on the sales floor. And you went in with so much confidence that inevitably you sold more. Right. And obviously, if it was a good deal, that's even better. So I always saw myself as somebody who wanted to wield that power, and really give people knowledge, share my expertise, and leave them better off than what they were, than where they were before. And here we are.
Amazing. Amazing. My follow-up question was supposed to be, how do we make processes that actually get used? And I feel like I just want to call out that you fully answered that question in your response and saying that, and maybe you can expand on that if there's more that I'm missing. But what I'm hearing is that if you make it somewhat exciting, and by exciting I mean it's of value to them, they see a benefit to both themselves and others, then they will just naturally lean into it, perhaps with a certain personality type.
Absolutely. I'm listening to an audiobook of a very popular book right now called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's clear to me because of that book and many of the other books that I love to read, is that we're essentially motivated by 2 things: pursuit of pleasure, avoidance of pain.
Yes.
And in order for you to build a good process, you have to follow the tendency of human behavior. There's a lot of psychology in process development. So you got to make it easy. You got to make it obvious. You got to make it satisfying.
Yeah.
All his
Absolutely.
4 laws.
All of those.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
His 4 laws.
Wow.
And when it comes to process design or even layout design, all of that goes into your operation.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's opening a store right now, they're in the best position possible, because if they really understand the business, they can design the customer experience.
Right.
They can design operational coherence or compliance. And then once you actually have something that works, that does really, really well, that provides a good customer experience and a good employee experience, you just need to find the right people at that point.
Yeah.
So I would say that's one of the biggest thing, is that if you want people to use the SOP has to work.
Right.
People always try to find a way around a certain process if they can find a faster, easier, more satisfying way. And that's why people cut corners, because sometimes SOPs actually get in the way of the job. So it's really getting down to the core aspect of the job, of that role, and say, okay, how do we get this result with as least friction as possible? And how do we make the customer experience as great as possible? If you strike a balance between those two things, it's almost like the perfect SOP, even though SOP is like it's a living document. It always changes as your business develops.
Amazing. I love how you were able to frame a current thing that you're reading around exactly your subject matter expertise. I feel like that's a very good sign of someone who's constantly thinking about the things that they want to pursue and move forward in this world and make progress. So I think that's really interesting. And you mentioned friction and the idea that, removing the friction. What is maybe the fastest way to get friction removed in a business, or is there a fastest way?
That's a great question. I don't know that there's one answer to that question. And typically why I go into any type of engagement with a client with an audit first, because friction means many things to many people. So friction could mean, poor team collaboration. And that's where you experience friction, right? Or friction just means I'm doing too much work to achieve this thing, right? Like if you have, let's say, a very secure system and you've got 2-factor authentication and passwords and things like that, you just want to log in to help your customer. Like that's a lot of friction. There may be a justification for it. However, the experience of the person actually using the system may be different, right? So I guess the question that I would ask is, where does it hurt? If you take a doctor's approach and you poke here, here, and here, and asking the patient where the pain is, they will tell you typically where the biggest pain is. And that's what you should start on. Now, whether it's fast or not really depends on the kind of pain that they have. But that's typically where a client or a business owner will see the most value, because that's the thing that's hurting them right now. So it could be a marketing issue, right? But I mean, within marketing, there are ways to execute. Like there are operations kind of spans around every department. So it's, for me, operations is just how to execute on the thing, whatever it is that you're doing. So maybe there is a friction in their lead generation pipeline. They don't know how to get customers. They don't know how to keep customers, or get the same customers to buy more times. There's so many different ways of approaching the problem, but I feel like it's quite personal to the business owner and the business. And I think an audit is typically where I would start to really understand the problem and get to the root cause, not just fix the symptom. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I like your analogy about asking where it hurts, because people will be able to, in whatever process they're doing and in whatever company, they'll be able to say, this is significant, this slows me down. They can acknowledge that. I think in lean methodologies, call it going to the Gemba. You go down there and you go ask people what's going on. We see this happening over here, but we want to know why, right? And maybe that is, I think what you're saying is that it might not be the fastest way, but the best way to start removing it is to identify it in some way, shape, or form, just to call it out and then go from there. Exactly.
Nice. We are, I've learned frankly, too many things actually to repeat right now. There's just a whole lot, and I'm circling around all of the things that I've done in my career to say, yeah, when that wasn't going well, maybe I should have done this instead. So you're leading a lot of thoughts for me, which is awesome. And I am realizing that in my own operations, I should probably be focusing maybe a little bit more on SOP. And I think that's the value of speaking to an expert like this, is that I'm understanding the gaps maybe in my own operations, the thing that I'm doing, just from the things that you're stating. So I want to thank you for that, for enlightening me, and hopefully the guests and everyone listening are learning the same thing. And because of that, I want to hear, how did you get here? How did you get to know all of these things? You alluded to it a little bit with, the early introductions of things, but what's the quick journey to let me know how you got to this place of helping people at this level?
I've always been in retail, and I've always loved to build things myself. Mm-hmm. Growing up, I had a father who was very multi-talented and mm-hmm. still is. Yeah. A very energetic kind of guy.
Nice.
And it really surprised me as to all of the things that he can do. Mm. And I think I took on that quality of wanting to build something for myself. Mm-hmm. Really enjoyed my freedom and putting something out into the world. Yeah, is a big deal for me. Okay. So throughout my retail career, I was very interested in technology at first, and the first gig that I had where I could kind of call the shots was at a wind mobile dealership. Yeah. I had worked for for the owner of the dealership a lifetime before that. And we had the opportunity to open up several locations. And at the time, it's called Freedom now, but Wind Mobile was a new entrant. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember, in 2010 or 2009, like Unlimited didn't exist, no contract didn't exist. Yep. That wasn't so long ago.
I do recall, yeah.
Yeah. So I loved everything that they stood for. Okay. And because I was pretty steeped in the wireless industry, was on mm-hmm. the sales side a lot, I wanted to be a part of that. Oh. And so they hired me as a general manager. We opened our first location at Bayshore Mall. Yep. And in the 3 years that I was there, we opened 7 locations. Wow. And then 2 in Kingston. And it was such a great ride. I mean, I got a really good foothold into what entrepreneurship really is like. Yeah. And because we were a franchisee, it was kind of a soft start, because we didn't have to figure out marketing or product or any of this kind of stuff. A lot of that stuff was figured out for us. All I had to do was hire the team, get accessories for the phones that we were selling. At that time, you had to build the kiosk yourself or pay $25,000.
Pay somebody to build.
Yeah, it. So build the kiosk myself. Nice. And get the phone system in place. And those are all parts of opening up a business, especially a brick and mortar business. But it was a good start for me, and it helped me really understand how to train people better and things like that. Yeah. And shortly after that gig, I joined another company called Mobile Clinic mm-hmm. as the first employee.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I've used Mobile Clinic, so that's cool.
Great. Yeah, that's so I was employee number 1 at Mobile Clinic.
Wow.
So cool. That was 2015, and it was a lot of the same founders for that dealership, plus the CEO of Wind, Ken Campbell.
Wow.
So they loved what I did at Wind, and they wanted me to get this operation going. And, luckily enough, we had contacts with a company who's doing this really well, this business model. Okay. And they told me to hire a couple of technicians, and they sent me to France and Germany to learn the business model from that company. So we spent 3 weeks in Europe, really learning about everything that needs to be done to run the operation, how to train the technicians, how to find parts, how to find tools. Wow. What the workflow is like, what happens when things go wrong, and how to deal with stuff like that. And when we came back, we had a bunch of French and German documents that we had to translate. This is before AI.
Yeah, and that would have been easy now, but not so much then.
And a bunch of phones to practice on and a few months to get prepared and get everything going. So at that point, I was responsible for way more. Now you have to buy everything in a box, like everything in the store. That was my responsibility.
Yeah, wow.
So the uniforms, the debit machine, you got to just put everything together, right?
Yep.
Make sure that you can open on day one.
Yep.
And in September, we opened our first location. It was really exciting. Funny enough, I was just at Saint Laurent the other day, and they are moving that location down to the first floor near the Toys R Us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it used to be next to the food court. And in any case, I opened up 91 locations in 6 years.
Holy, wow.
It was a very busy 6 years.
Wow.
And there is so much that happened in those 6 years. But I would say the highlights is that we acquired 3 other companies who were kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Rebranded them as mobile clinics, took over their staff, did the data migration for their systems, trained them. We developed partnerships, official partnerships with all of the major manufacturers, including Apple and Samsung.
Wow.
So we were using their systems. They were sending us customers, and you could find mobile clinic locations on the Samsung website, on the Apple website, so on and so forth. So that was, a big deal for us, obviously.
Yeah.
And in 2020, TELUS bought our company for $165 million. That was, for me, the validation that what I was doing was worth something.
Worth money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And AI didn't exist at the time. Maybe it was being developed, but we weren't using it.
You weren't using it.
And so throughout that year, I was obviously dealing with a lot more TELUS people. Mm-hmm. And because our business kind of stopped overnight, literally nobody wanted to walk into a mall anymore.
Right.
We had to pivot, and we had to figure out how to help customers without them actually walking in.
Coming to the store.
So we launched the Come To You program, where we retrofitted vans with all of our store equipment, fixed people's phones on their driveway, while being ESD safe and all that stuff.
Holy.
We had a mail-in program that we launched.
Protocols would have been.
Yeah, I mean, you have to pivot, right? When your revenue stops literally overnight, you got to do something quickly. And a lot of companies were in this type of position. Mm-hmm. But while I was working on all of these things, everybody cashed out, including myself. And, I have a secure job. I'm working from home. Yeah, things in the world suck at that point. Mm-hmm. But relatively speaking, I'm healthy, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And I have a job. I have a paycheck. I don't really have that much to worry about. There's a lot of other people who are not in the same scenario. Right. Restaurants, people who had open businesses. Running a business is hard just by itself.
Oh, yeah.
So when you add the restrictions that COVID brought on, people were having a pretty crappy experience.
For sure.
And I just didn't feel good. There's something inside of me that didn't feel good about having that secure job, while everybody else, people that I cared about, were having to pivot and deal with the restrictions and change rules every single week. And it was tough. So I think that opened my eyes a little bit to, well, if I could do this for mobile clinic, and I had no phone repair experience prior to that, what we could do, I could do anything.
Yeah.
Because I learned that stuff as I went.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be a curious person, and I love learning about all kinds of things, just like you.
Yeah.
So I told myself that if I can learn that, I could learn anything.
Amazing.
And what I am bringing to my clients today is not the subject matter expertise. That's what they have.
Yeah.
That's not what they need me for. They need me for the organization, the structure, the planning, alignment, giving people energy in their jobs, and letting that energy shine through the customer experience. It makes a huge difference. So shortly after the acquisition, I left Mobile Clinic.
Yeah.
And I joined the founders of Repair and Run as a co-founder of Mobile Clinic, as a co-founder of a company called Repair and Run that does professional e-bike and e-scooter repair.
Oh.
We currently have 5 locations, and we're growing.
Wow.
It's a very similar model to the Mobile Clinic model.
Yeah.
We're really not just selling the service, we're selling the technician.
Perfect.
It's a destination for people who adopted that alternative transportation lifestyle.
Yeah.
Couriers, people who just want to use their cars less, or if it doesn't make sense to use a car, they want to use an e-bike, they have a place to go now for service. And at the same time, started consulting. I immediately validated that I have skills, and I started to look for people to help with those skills.
Amazing.
And I mean, it's been a few years now, so here we are.
Well, congratulations. Wow. That is an incredible journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like you could probably talk to me for hours about the lessons learned on some of those. And opening, did you say 95 stores in
91 in 6 years?
91 in 6 years.
Like more than one a month.
That's unfathomable to me. I literally can't, I don't know how I would even start something like that.
It's a lot of flights and hotels.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to say thank you for putting in the work as well as getting it done. And I commend you on just doing an incredible job at it.
Yeah, thank you. How was your experience at Mobile Clinic?
It was great. Honestly, it was like, here you go. Thank you. I came back the next day. It was done.
Awesome.
It was beautiful.
Love it.
So you did the work. And I will say that also that provides another, idea is that when you leave and things still work, that's the sign of good processes. So asking that question, getting that validation, I hope that felt good. That it was great.
Yeah.
And leaving is a good thing, and moving on and doing new things and building and learning more. It sounds like you're on a journey, and I respect the curiosity. I think you shouldn't downplay that, and I don't think you did, but the idea of like you bring the curiosity to ask the right questions. So congratulations, and amazing. And I really enjoyed speaking with you. So thanks.
Thank you so much for having me.